by Djakovic.
Hello and welcome to the replay of the round 2 AFL clash between Carlton and Brisbane at Etihad Stadium. Both teams coming off round 1 wins, and Carlton's lineup with its big guns, Judd and Favola, leading a long list of young players on the rise, including Mitch Robinson, Jeff Garlett, Sam Jacobs and Aaron Joseph, all playing in their second game of AFL football. And they're up against the highly potent Brisbane with Jonathan Brown and Daniel Bradshaw up forward, and a midfield led by the returning Simon Black. Let's go to the action. Cruiser up against Leuenberger, and we're away. Round 2. Russell in quickly, and Daniel Rich, an early tackle.
Dwayne, it's interesting you mentioned those matchups down back. Thornton with the job on Jonathan Brown. Jared Waits ended up on Justin Sherman. I kind of thought it might have been the other way around, because Thornton can play tall and small, but Wade will certainly try to be an attacking option off half-back.
A couple of players had it lost at power. One of them, Leuenberger, another tackled.
And Dwayne had thrown in the midfield to... not sure who he's going to yet, but he's going into the midfield to really throw the Gibbs, Judd, Murphy out of control.
Murphy, speaking of, Bauer, Joseph, in just his second game. Houlihan, an outstanding week last week, short for Wiggins. Houlihan down behind play, coming off that 29 possession game last week. Mitch Robinson in the pocket. Again, Murphy rolled it. He was out of play as he kicked it, and he was out of bounds on the full, in fact.
That's what he was doing last week, Dwayne. He was running, and he was running deep, and that's why he was probably best on ground last week, Murphy, just running all day and getting as many possessions as possible.
See, the kick from Wiggins showed a lot of confidence in Mitch Robinson. It probably wasn't the right option, kicking deep to the pocket, but good to have the confidence to kick to a young kid.
Oh, he's dead. Favola again, chasing magnificently.
And that was 20 tackles inside 50 last week, and they've started fantastically again. And Brendan Favola continues defensive action like he did with that tackle. He is going to step up again, and he's already a fantastic player, but doing that adds another string to your bow.
Where that really hurts is you've got a 2-on-1, and the communication wasn't there, either a shepherd or a hand pass, and you get neither. And now instead of that, you have Favola having a shot for goal, and he's so dangerous in this situation.
As the boys said in the intro, coming off that record for the Blues, 82 tackles last week. Outstanding game by all the Blues, and Brendan Favola leads from the front. That splits the middle.
That is just the perfect start for Carlton. I mean, they really would have wanted that, and from a defensive action, you couldn't hope for a better start. Brendan Favola gets off to a good start, and he's a confidence player. That will really help them. Mitch Robinson getting in the play, Murphy getting in the play. The guys you need to have the ball in their hands.
Just got caught in two minds, unfortunately, Mitch Clark. The last thing you want to do is give Brendan Favola a bit of confidence early in the game.
Boys, just keep an eye on power on Judd.
Wasn't only caught in two minds, Mitch Clark, he was just caught. Brendan Favola, a tackle and goal. What bruised heel.
Now we've got Josh Drummond loose at one end in defence, and looks like Thornton or Waite alternating as the loose man in the other end.
Hadley quickly tackled. Rich ties it up in the middle. Still inside the centre square. And the second gamer getting some treatment there from Aaron Joseph. So another second gamer.
And it looks like Power and Judd are going head-to-head, which will just be a fascinating contest.
Well, the umpire's down. Umpire Ray Chamberlain's down. And a few of the crowd enjoyed that. Hooper, outstanding 4-goal week last week. First quarter wasn't so good. And he gets the kick early, and the mark to Thornton. Jonathan Brown made him earn it.
Positioned himself well, though, Brett Thornton. If the quick kick was going to come out, you just see he just trips over the feet of Power and Judd there, but Thornton knew that the quick kick would fall short, so he stood in front of Jonathan Brown.
Hadley. Waite.
Right there, Michael!
You heard the umpire's call. Didn't want to turn it over, so just shoots the handball back. 1-2 is okay. Houlihan. Waite. Caught. Tries to throw it back again, but Judd might have to mop up this mess. Does so. Houlihan. This kick better. Releases Thornton. The open side. Betts is on the move. And he's called into it. Well played by Simpson.
Good
Caught him in. Gibbs. Favola. 2 to beat. Half held. Crowd want a free. Don't get it. Patfull. Little fumble. Fair fighting hard again. Patfull. McGrath. Out of trouble. Sherman. Good hands.
And both teams, Dwayne, have created good space in their forward line early. Don't seem to be as many players dropping back as normal, and Power getting off Judd here.
Yeah, you could just see Brendan Favola actually locked the arm of Daniel Merritt, his opponent behind him, so no free kick definitely.
Power to Riscatelli, then to McDonald. Johnston. Best game of his Brisbane line career, 37 possessions last week. Travis Johnston hits the target. Power. Jonathan Brown's on the move, can't get there to attempt the mark. Waits for him, hunts him down, shrugs him short. Hooper, just the required 15.
That is great work from Jonathan Brown. You can see the loose man's Jared Waite as Justin Sherman pushes up the ground. He stays back loose in defence. So Thornton sags off. He's got Waite putting pressure on, but look at the little jink of the hips. Just gets rid of Waite and then spots up Rowan Hooper.
Terrific vision. I mean, most players go to the goal square there. To be able to spot the player shorter and give Hooper a shot for goal gives your teammates confidence. And if he kicks this, it's a great confidence booster for the Lions.
Kicked 3 of his 4 goals last week in the 3rd term to bring the Lions back from the dead. This levels the scores early, opening term.
And Brisbane working through the middle of the ground there with Power getting his hands on the ball and going to Jonathan Brown. Jonathan Brown here, his ability to shrug weight off shows the power he does have in his hips. And as you mentioned, Jason, just a great kick. And Hooper's a man that they will need to kick goals. If he can kick the goals he kicked last week and take the pressure off Bradshaw and Brown, it will add to the potency of this Brisbane forward line.
Quiet now, Todd. Hey, quiet when he's going to the bounce.
Thanks, guys, Rich.
Yeah.
Lukey.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks.
And has had some good games against Carlton. Rowan Hooper kicked 4 goals in the game that Jonathan Brown kicked that record 10 goals against Carlton back in 2007. Scores level. Good crowd in here at Etihad.
Wow.
First game back for Simon Black. A little rusty perhaps. Russell on the end of it, kicks forward. Patfull, boundary line his friend. He knew it. He went for it. And he disguised it well enough.
Jordan Russell's got the job on Travis Johnson. You said in the pre-match, Hurdy, that he'd be one they wouldn't let run around because he cut them up last week when unattended.
Definitely, Jason. You can't afford to let Johnson go free. He can kill you with his disposal.
Judd, perfect knockdown. Betts out of the training drill. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that.
Look, the hands of Chris Judd there to get it to Eddie Betts. It's a great finish by Eddie Betts and great goal. And if you watch the hands of Chris Judd as it comes off the pack, it's just so clean. And Crispin knows where his teammate is. He didn't even look to see where Betts was. And look, it's to say this is Betts' bread and butter, it would be silly, but you know, he kicks too many of those to say it's a fluke. Watch here how he doesn't even look to where he's handballing. He hears the voice and bang, out it goes. Terrific play.
Okay, mate. Clear behind you, right? Is anyone there?
Had a good summer too, Eddie Betts. Hasn't always come back after the summer's in good condition. One year came back and Lance Whitnell beat him around Princess Park in one of the distance runs. And
that is a worry, Dwayne, when Lance is beating you around.
another year he went swimming with Tony Liberatore at Gunnamatta, and Tony Liberatore had to pull him out of the surf. So he has come back in good shape this year and reaping the rewards. Palm down, Black, Power, almost mixed that up a little. Caught again and dumped Adcock. Power with a slap on to Johnston. Slips his way through Hadley. Spears the pass to Brown. How's that for hands?
Well, that's one of the reasons that Travis Johnson has been sought after. He can tease you at times because he hasn't developed the consistency everyone would love to see him get. But when he does use the ball like this, you can see why there is so much desire to have him in the lineup. He just needs to get his hands on the ball more, make sure that his work ethic is at a very high level week in, week out.
That's what Jonathan Brown has ahead of him.
Good hit.
And that splits the middle and scores a level again.
Well, he had a nice channel to lead straight up the middle of the ground, Jonathan Brown. And if there's going to be a loose man in defence, you'd certainly like to see him take that corridor away.
You just see
Mind you, it's a brave man that's going to sit in front of Jonathan Brown leading too.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. You see what missed tackles did there. I think Murphy missed one. I think Hadley missed the tackle. If you miss the tackle and provide Johnson with the ability to hit the target, I would imagine Brett Redden would be very disappointed with that. Their focus is tackles, and you can't afford to miss them that close, in the middle of the ground when Brown's leading up the ground.
See Thornton and Waite on screen there.
Guys are on it all the way up.
They know that Jonathan Brown is the go-to man.
All right, here we go.
So they're making sure they play close to him, almost with a double team. Jacobs in the ruck now against Charman. Ball knocked down. Gibbs. Judd. Gave it back and then provided the Shepherd. Joseph. Lead from Betts. One-on-one with McGrath. McGrath's fist wins. Ball in.
Well, Dwayne, at the centre bounce, Waite's giving Drummond a fair leg rope, and Drummond's really playing the forward line. But then as soon as the ball goes forward into Carlton's forward line, Drummond for Brisbane drops back and now sits free in that forward 50.
About early, eyes out on the footy, pushed him out.
Charman, a free kick against, and he has got a poor free kick record, Jamie Charman. It's one of the flaws in his game. He might claim he's unlucky. Jacobs gives it off. Gibbs. Tough one for anyone to mark. Simpson flies and made it look easy, Cade Simpson. It wasn't his ball, but he looked around and no one else was going for it.
Yeah, look, I think people will sit here and probably be critical of Joel McDonald and say he should have punched, but Joel McDonald actually felt like he was the one dropping back in front of the pack that was coming. And the pack just doesn't get to the kick. You can see it arriving. Cameron Cloke was the intended target, but it was just better judgment. Cade Simpson chimed in, got the good leap in front of Joel McDonald and took the mark.
To get the lead back. Starts at left. Doesn't come back enough.
He's missed the goal there, Dwayne. A terrific mark. It's very hard to play against a guy who's coming back with a flight of the ball. It's very hard to spoil and man-on-man him.
McGrath with a short kick in. McDonald.
Still mine.
Danger here. McGrath knocked clear. Albert Proud. McDonald.
Trouble.
Black. Or Judd comes at him. There's trouble. He's gone. Ball still under there. Judd dragged it in.
That's a win for Brisbane. That is a win. To not get pinged there and to actually get a stoppage. Chris Judd gets up and says, how on earth is that not a free kick? Because the ball spills out. And I guess it's then trapped under his body.
There's the evener up. Charman gets the free for the push, and this time it's against Sam Jacobs.
Yeah, nice to see a free kick go Jamie Charman's way too, instead of always against one.
Power. Thought about going back again. It's a dangerous kick to Dalziel. Forced to do the tackling. That's well on Joseph.
Oh, boy.
And you can already see Brisbane going short, and if you don't get those passes right, those short passes, it does cause you a lot of trouble.
Jacobs to Russell. A fan to the open side. Tough ball. Gibbs took on the tackler. Gave it up to Houlihan. Hits to Favola. Over his head. Cloke. Betts. Put this in the book. Eddie spins it around and misses.
They're playing Russian roulette, Dwayne. If they let Houlihan free through the middle of the ground, he'll hit those next time, and Brendan Favola will have another shot for goal. You cannot afford to have him with his hands on the ball with no pressure.
First miss of the season for Eddie Betts. 5 straight last week, 1 straight before that kick tonight. Simon Black the target. Cloke will make him earn it.
Well, I'm not quite sure why you kick long to Simon Black when Cameron Cloke's lurking around him. They're probably, again, that's probably a win for Brisbane, the fact that it went out of bounds and Cloke didn't take the mark.
Which is one of the options now, the team zone, just to kick that big, long 55-metre kick boundary side and knock it out and start again. Betts tries to knock it on, but Black had it. Straight up in the air. Charman thumped toward the boundary. Proud. Black, 2 boys into the team for Brisbane for their first game of the season tonight. Thornton cuts it off. Hands to Waite. Kicks to Judd. 3 to beat. Can't beat them all. Oh, he does. He almost gets a hold in the ball. Turned it over regardless. Cruiser, Cloke, Simpson, dump, pushed in the back. No, holding the ball. Selwood got it from Black. Gave it to Power, who gives it back to Black. Dalziel, and now Rich. Good kick. Jonathan Brown flies. He's crunched. Waite got back. 2-on-1. Thornton and Waite against Jonathan Brown. Thornton dives on it. Wiggins. Waite. Good contest at the moment. Crowd really enjoying this. Blues portion won't enjoy that. Drummond, inboard. Simon Black having an influence now. Jonathan Brown's already kicked one from here.
He had been running around in space ever since the initial contest, and that's a great contest there, but he gets up quickly on his feet and finds space. Brisbane have got to stop kicking to a 1-on-2 with Jared Waite sitting in front of Jonathan Brown. They're lucky that he got a second chance, but he just works hard. He just continued to push into space.
And Simon Black already only been on the ground for 5 minutes and already 6 possessions.
So he's already had his sighter from here, Jonathan Brown. Splits the middle again, and the Lions for the first time tonight in front.
Well, probably a little bit lucky. I mean, to get a second crack at getting the ball to Jonathan Brown is not going to happen too often, but the initial kick, look, he's gone for the torpedo punt out of defence. That's a sign of pressure because he'd run to the flank. He couldn't link up with a hand pass. He went for the long kick, kicked a mongrel, and that's what happens when there's a quick turnover. Look at Brett Thornton. He is distraught because the kick from Waite at half back caused a quick turnover.
I think it's what happens, Dwayne, when you kick the ball, when you rush with your kick out of defence. You can't afford it in this day and age. There's too many players back for the Brisbane Lions there, and that rush kick by Waite, I think, is unforgivable. And imagine you get a bit of a serve for that.
Cruiser and Leuenberger in the ruck. Russell backtracks. Houlihan, they reset from defence. Hadley, Houlihan, Betts. Carl with some space. Players screaming for it inside 50. Mitch Robinson was the target, missed him. Daniel Rich. Good kick. Adcock, Dalziel. Knew there was people coming. Bradshaw. He's got Clark peeling for him one side. Centering kick, perfection that. Riscatelli.
Now, see, the great thing about that is he draws so much of the footy, Jonathan Brown. Everyone's worried about where's he going to lead. It just takes a little bit of initiative from some of the other options up forward to push into space, and someone that's smart enough like Daniel Bradshaw not to just have the sole focus of Jonathan Brown in his mind and pick the best option.
Well, the ball movement by the Lions is a bit too easy through the middle of the ground then. I think Carlton are playing a very attacking style of football and didn't have their men where they needed them.
Riscatelli. Poor kick. Family here tonight. Keylor boy back home. Scotland. Bauer. Hadley. Wiggins getting back. Good fist. And McDonald follows his fist up and makes sure it travels out of play.
And the Carlton forwards, Jason, playing very high and trying to almost lead back into the forward 50 rather than lead up towards the ball. What would be the reason for that?
Oh, look, I think it's a twofold thing. Creates a lot of space behind, and certainly they want Fev to have that space, don't they? But if they can run and carry the ball, well, then it's a lot harder for defenders running back towards goal.
No prior opportunity for Adcock. Got out of trouble. Patfull, McDonald, Dalziel. Little fumble, but again he mops up his own mess. McDonald, Bradshaw.
Open forward line here, Jason, if they can move it quickly.
Jonathan Brown 2 to beat again here, though.
Jared Waite's playing it well, and that's a good kick if it had hit the target.
Proud towards Drummond. Waite picked it off.
Right option.
Oh, and a little pass behind his back, if you don't mind. Some party tricks.
Globetrotters.
To Cloak. Keeps it alive. Everybody trying to pull a trick from the bag. Good tackle. Holding. Patfull is free.
I know that kick going forward wasn't a great one to Drummond. There was some great skill there from Jared Waite, but it was the right option. They weren't actually kicking to Jonathan Brown. They were kicking to Drummond, who was running into space.
That's yours, Todd.
Sherman called to play on, went back to Power, and the mark to Drummond.
Drummond's the free player that Waite's dropping off from and going to Brown to create a 2-on-1. So the Lions have to go through Drummond to make Waite accountable.
Merritt to the open side. Going to have to go to Charman, perhaps. McDonald calls for an inboard. Oh, they stick to the corridor nicely.
Now Jonathan Brown's one out.
Long kick from Stiller toward Brown. A little chop to the ear. No free. Bradshaw. The handball out. Joseph. Waite. Poise. Hadley. Thornton. Very confident Carlton backline at the moment. Players peeling for him wide. Bauer. Simpson. 1-2 work perfectly. And now Favola. Played for the free, didn't get it. Sherman. Hot contest this. Travis Johnston. He slips a tackle. Short kick good. Releases Stiller. Hands off to Proud. Has to come inboard. Thought about Selwood. Back to Stiller. Jonathan Brown again with 2 to beat. But Stiller doesn't bomb it long, and he's almost caught. Dalziel, Drummond, that free man James Hurd told you about. Selwood, Charman, everybody getting a piece of it to the open side. McDonald. Jonathan Brown leads again. Again he's ignored. Short. Drummond.
He's doing some leading Brownie, isn't he? He's making 4 or 5 leads every time, and they've really got to find an option that they can drop weight off, and they're going to Brown again.
Here's his 5th lead. Used his body illegally, according to the umpire. Thornton free.
And that was tiredness, Jason.
I was about to say, he finally got the one-on-one matchup that he wanted, and he was just knackered at the end. Look, he can't even jump. He just falls over.
He's in for a tough day, Jonathan Brown. And look, he'll keep the ball's going to him enough, but he's in for a tough day. He's trying to have to beat 2 players every time the ball comes near him.
Paul Bauer held the ball aloft, said let's maintain possession. Let's get a breath. Gibbs.
Look. Yours.
Now Russell.
That's it there, Daniel. Hold.
Short.
That's it there.
Sam Jacobs.
Jamie, hold.
The source, as they call him, because he's the source of all tap downs in the middle, obviously.
Play on.
Although some say it's because of his hair. Kicks it along. Wiggins again back with the flight. Couldn't get there to mark.
Well done.
Black. Will Shepherd power. Eddie Betts hunts him down. Almost caused a turnover. Joseph does well initially. Gibbs. Murphy. Blues fans roaring. They can sense something here. It's stolen back again. Black. Charman. Hooper. Picked off again by Thornton.
You'd almost say they're a bit too Brown conscious at the moment, Jason. I mean, Hooper could have gone deeper and even gone for goal himself there.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably Bradshaw, the longer option, would have been better if he couldn't go for goal.
Waite to Johnson to Russell. They've got space to move here, the Blues. Chris Judd says, give it to me long. It's short. Murphy.
I've seen Mark Murphy get a couple of touches in the last minute or so, but he has been worn like a glove by Trev Selwood, really battling.
They gave it to Judd eventually. He heads to Favola over his head. Judd just not hitting the targets at the moment. Back to Murphy from Cruiser. Rolls a goal. And that was rolled goal.
Well, he'll feel very good about kicking that goal, Mark Murphy, because up until about a minute and a half ago, it had just the 2 possessions in the first quarter. All of a sudden, he's had 3 possessions in the last minute and a half, albeit the first couple under pressure, but this one just hard running, and that's what you've got to do when you've got the tag. You can see Selwood just 4 or 5 metres behind him. Hard running is the only way to break a tag.
You hit the nail on the head. The running there was amazing. I mean, he kicked the ball to Judd, then kicked it in forward, then got it back again. It was a 50-metre run. Fantastic goal.
Mark Murphy, some say should be playing for the Brisbane Lions, of course. His father, John, one of the greatest Lions players of all time, 5-time best and fairest and Hall of Fame member.
And look, he's always had good running capacity, but it takes a while in your AFL career to get that sort of running capacity. I mean, it's a 3 or 4 year doing the miles in your legs and getting that aerobic conditioning up so you can run the way he did to get that goal.
Another free kick against Charman.
He just went way before acceptances. Jamie Charman got his timing all wrong.
So another chance for the Blues to score before quarter time. Simpson to Judd. Gee, Juddy slipped through his fingers. Mitch Robinson. As the seconds continue to tick.
I think he felt that he pushed him in the side, Joel McDonald, but it was called for in the back.
Simpson calls for it to the pocket. Charman.
There's a death ball.
Juddy. Well, he can make amends. He's outside the boundaries. He kicks this and gets a smother.
Made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes, Chris Judd, but the effort from Cade Simpson, take your hat off to him, because Jamie Charman had a run and jump at the ball. He risked life and limb going back to create the spoil.
Hadley trying to slip a handball out. Proud. Caught by Judd. That'll do. Good tackle. Keeps it in the area. Keeps Carlton a chance to steal the quarter-time lead.
That's free. Round the pack.
Excuse me, Simon.
That's free off the ball.
Excuse me, Simon, was the
very
umpire.
polite.
Ray Chamberlain to Simon Black. Power, caught, to Simon Black, to Adcock, had it but lost it. Hooper comes down to half-back to lend a hand. Seconds continue to roll. And the ball continues to outside the pack. Hooper again, gang tackled. Well, Brendan Favola wanted him, and he got him.
I really hope that Judd-Power battle stays for the whole game. I mean, Power on 11 possessions, Judd on 7 possessions, both getting a bit of the ball. Judd making some uncharacteristic mistakes early in his game, but if you've spent the whole week in bed with flu, it does take a quarter to run that out and sort of get your touch back.
Jacobs, Russell, Scotland, Murphy inside 50, he gets there, but he doesn't mark it. Selwood, hands off to Patfull, Dalziel. Not time enough for a Brisbane score unless there's a free kick downfield. Dalziel, quarter time at Etihad Stadium, and a quality contest it has been. And the Brisbane Lions lead by a behind. 3-3-21 to Carlton, 3-2-20. Second term to get underway. Leuenberger in the ruck against Cruiser. Good bounce. Cruiser with the knockdown. Perfect. Murphy. Judd. High bomb. Over the head of both Cloak and Favola. Robinson gathered. Tried to get it out in the Favola direction. And dragged over for not a behind. Merrick keeps it alive. Drummond. Adcock. So the new rule in play there. Patfull, Dalziel.
Oh, if they had have switched, they had numbers the other side.
Drummond's kick smothered. Ricochets through the legs of Power. You can see Power and Judd head-to-head at the moment.
3 Brisbane Lions players waiting for the ball to go out the other side. Just didn't have the vision to change it up.
So as opposed to tagging Chris Judd, they're giving Chris Judd an opponent that he has to worry about a little. And he's got it now. Power. Judd hunts him. Power to Black. Just too wide. Hooper couldn't get anywhere near it, and Waite, the man who takes the mark on the line. 21 plays 20. Pops it up in hope. Cloak from 5 deep, got hands to it. Power caught high by Garland. Is okay.
You have to say Lukey Power's done a very good job on Chris Judd so far. Judd having some disposals inside 50 as Waite goes forward.
Gee, Hooper waited on that, and instead Waite didn't wait, and he gives it to Favola.
As soon as you wrap up a blow, Purdy, he turns it over with a poor kick, and it ends in the hands of Brendan Favola.
Look, it doesn't. If Carlton are able to kick goals, well, here we go, Lukey Power. I mean, a free kick, an obvious free kick, and then a bad kick. But if Carlton are able to kick goals through Waite's possessions, that's when Michael Voss will have to change his tactics.
I think the first goal of the opening term, Brendan Favola, to do likewise here in the second and give the Blues the lead. Bends that back. Oh, it's a work of art, that kick.
About to say as he was running in, will he go the drop punt on Banana? And he had it beautifully in mind. He gave himself plenty of room. There's the poor kick. It landed halfway in between Ryan Hooper and Simon Black, and the quick turnover killed you. But Brendan Favola, he went back for the long run up as he normally does with a drop punt, then just opened up a little bit of angle and screwed it around. Made it look very easy.
I'll make a call, Jason. One more goal as a result of a Jared Waite possession. And I think Michael Voss will start manning him up and making him accountable for a man.
So Hurdy predicting maybe an end to the Russian roulette that we're seeing at the moment between the two loose men. And the ball up. Cruiser tracks it down. Well, they're not going to Judd. Leuenberger dives in, ties it up. And Leuenberger, Carlton fan as a kid, gets to his feet and will go at the ruck contest.
Room out the back, boys. Room out the back.
There he is in game number 21, up against Matthew Cruiser in game number 22. 2 rising stars of the competition. Speaking of which, Murphy, Houlihan, Judd. Hooper had him. Forced to give it up to Houlihan to the open side. Waite, another possession. Will it end in a goal? That's the answer Hurdy wants. Scotland might give it to him. Thumps it long. Cloak, front spot. Went with the toe. And it's through for a behind.
He got caught spectating Daniel Rich. His opponent is Heath Scotland. He'd broken out the space. Daniel Rich just got attracted to the footy but didn't get involved in the play. And when he looked up and saw his man 30 metres in space, he was horrified.
Merritt, little 1-2 with Drummond. That's the kick away, made it tough for Clark. Forced to punch from behind. Simon Black dished it up, but not to a teammate. Simpson, Joseph, Houlihan, back to Simpson. Johnson, Waite, another possession. Simpson again. Short. Gibbs.
50.
And 50. And this will take him to the goal line.
That's a gift.
That kills you, that does. And look, it's a technicality if you just step over the line, and it really doesn't affect the game too much when that happens. The umpire over-umpiring, Jason, or fair enough?
Well, look, you could call it over-umpiring, but the laws are there. I've got an issue with some of the laws of the game more so than the umpiring.
Gibbs slots it. And Carlton after their biggest lead of the game.
I think the umpires are doing what they're instructed to do, and we can't blame them for that. But we've become so rule conscious now. If the player encroaches marginally, and we just see here, you just can't. Look, he wasn't involved in the play, but he didn't actually retard him. He didn't grab the jumper and stop him from getting back off the mark. He just made contact with him without going over the mark. That's the rule, the strict letter of the law, but we need to put a little bit of understanding in there for the umpires to have some discretion.
But just for the record, we all agree that wasn't 50, was it?
No, that wasn't 50. And look, the umpiring there, the rule was there, fair enough.
The rule's wrong if the umpires feel they have to pay that.
But if he doesn't do what he did, Monday morning in the video replay, the coach will get into him for not covering the handle.
From the ball up. Selwood caught by Judd. Hot tackle. Holding the ball.
He thinks he got a handball to it when he got tackled. Troy Selwood.
And the Blues starting to get on top here. They get another goal. It'll be a worrying trend for the Brisbane coaching box.
Yeah, they need the next one, Brisbane. They need it badly.
2 goals, the biggest gap we've had tonight. Joseph to Jacobs. Murphy. Thumps it long in hope. Cloak.
Hands on the shoulder.
Free kick.
Yep. He went for the Warwick Kappa, Bryce Gibbs. You just see the 2 hands there on the shoulder of Simon Black. And here's Mitch Robinson's run through the mark. You can hear Ray Chamberlain say it very, very clearly. Mitch, through the mark, that's 50.
How many marks would you have taken your day if that rule was in place back in the 80s and 90s, Jason?
I could never use my hands. There was no one strong enough to hold my body weight up, unfortunately.
Well, there's strong hands right there. Jonathan Brown, some of the strongest in the business.
But if he's going to get the ball, they won't mind him getting it up near the wing.
That's true. Slips this wide. Another good pair of hands, Mitch Clark.
And he's one of the options, I think. They need to throw forward another tool which will draw Jared Waite.
Well, Sherman lurking around Waite's position at the moment.
Charman with the fist wins.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sherman's been told to make Waite accountable. He's sort of lurking around, and Waite still giving him a fair leg rub.
Mitch Robinson having a rest. Waite. Thornton with the 1 paw. 33-22.
No one on the mark, so there's no pressure on him.
But he doesn't come forward at all. Hadley. Hadley can go all the way back to fullback if he wants to. Kicks wide of the zone. Over for Jacobs. Wiggins off hands, perfect. Garland. He's got Favola. Needs to be a good pass. The Fev's under it. Got it. Already kicked one from that pocket.
Oh, he wanted to go.
He would have got 50 if he did go.
And what Carlton are doing here, when it's a slow play, they're actually kicking it to a taller target who's trying to bring the ball to ground, and the Crummers are moving through. Distinctive slow play when there's a zone gone back, which is very distinctive to the different to the Brisbane style, which is more work the ball up through short passes. Carlton aren't afraid to go long and bring the ball to ground where their smaller players come into play.
This last kick from this pocket was a work of art. That one knocked. It's a little bit of Salvador Dali there. That didn't really bend where it should have been.
That was abstract art.
That was. Patfull. And Rich is on the end of this, and he gathers and goes. Well played. Jonathan Brown. Too far out to score. Sends it to Bradshaw, the old firm.
And it was Waite's first mistake for the night. He actually went to Rich and should have stayed back on Brown. Probably overcommitted himself to Rich, thinking he'd get there, and didn't get to Rich, which opened up, gave Brown the freedom over the top. and into Bradshaw.
Beautiful kick from Brown, but they need a good kick from Bradshaw here. They need a steadier.
And perfect off the boot. They needed that.
It's been a while since they've gone forward, Brisbane, and had space for both Brown and Bradshaw to lead into. Brown working further up the ground, and probably that's going to open up things behind him as well. In the first quarter, he operated predominantly in the attacking 50, and that allowed them to get numbers around him. This time he pushes further up towards the wing. We've seen him gather a couple of possessions up there, but then Brett Thornton, he was playing 10 metres in front of Bradshaw, covering him on that occasion, couldn't get back.
Excuse me, mate.
There has been a bit of talk about the accuracy of full forwards in the modern game. Bradshaw 3 straight last week, 1 straight tonight. And he's kicking at around 70-71% mark in the last year. It's a very good goal rate from the ball up. Hadley again doing well. You heard the call of play on. The mark not paid. The play on suited them. Judd, he can give this off to Wiggins. He wants to kick one himself. Get him back in the action. The Judster's back.
That all starts with the centre clearance, Hurley. There was a little bit of a roll of the dice from some of the midfielders. It looked like Brisbane initially were going to win the clearance. They looked like they were going to, and as soon as that happens, you could just see a couple of players running forward, a couple get drawn to the ball, but the Carlton midfielders, there's 2 of them, Judd's one of them, the other they could have raffled it just out of screen was Wiggins, who'd come in from the side of the square. They just ran forward into space, and as a result, a goal.
Well, the bounce of the ball really hurt Luke Power there. He'd overcommitted, I think, and let Judd get sort of 15-20 metres away. And yeah, Judd must have just put his nose in front now in that battle.
Well, he's on 11 possessions. Luke Power's on 13, but Judd has a goal to his name now.
Cruiser with the thump. Rich with the gather. Hadley got him. Gives it to Power. He's got one back on Judd. Briscatelli. Johnston just got the kick away in time. Charman waited for it. Thornton came hard. And here's Judd again. Oh, it's cut off. Judd might get it. Adcock didn't make something of it.
Well, that's a throw.
Splendid tackle. That is a throw. Russell runs on. 2 on 1 here. The Blues with the 2. Garlett, Betts. Garlett takes them on. Handball smothered. Gets it back again. Rolls it poorly. And they get out of trouble.
Should just followed his instinct, Garlett, and had the shot.
McDonald, Power, Adcock to the open side. Drummond. He's been loose. Doesn't want to kick it to the other loose man. White sends it long. Mitch Clark, hands on it. Gets the push. Gets a free.
Now, the great thing about that long kick, it was to space. He's leaned. This is the throw. And the poetic justice. How that's deemed a handball is beyond me, but
quick play on.
He's properly Mitch Clark. You have a look at him. He landed awkwardly coming down. He's hurt the ankle or the knee.
It was a great kick to space, Jason. A kick away from weight as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thornton.
Really struggling behind play, Mitch Clark.
White.
Hey.
Bow.
Oh, there. Right out.
He's coming off.
Let's hope he's okay because he's had so many injuries. Just the 12 games last year due to that quad.
He can barely get out of a shuffle. Just see the big leap. Have a look at the way he lands. Or there might have been a little bit of a hyperextension there.
Cloak with the hand off to Wiggins.
Good vision.
Set it up for Houlihan. Picked off by McDonald on the rebound. Adcock. Too wide for Bradshaw. Ball in.
Struggled tonight, Jed Adcock. Just the 6 possessions. And when you miss targets like that, he had Bradshaw 5 metres clear on the lead.
You might be right there, Jason. They look to be working the knee of Mitch Clark. Lee Colbert to give us an update shortly.
It just looked like the left leg might have hyperextended when he landed.
Hooper caught and then caught high. Cruiser ducked into that. Then caught. Umpire said he handballed. Travis Johnston.
That's going to affect their setup, Mitch Clark coming off the ground, because they're really relying on him up forward to keep another tall Carlton player.
They're looking at the right leg
under control.
Hold there, Jordan. Hold.
10 points the margin. 39-29. Travis Johnston Called to play on. Centering kick. Sits it on the head of Jonathan Brown. Jamison with the thump. Murphy. Kick wide. Tough ball this. Oh, Robinson did brilliantly. Gathered. Gave to Bauer. He's half court, so gives it back.
Well, he doesn't mind taking them on.
Takes on Leuenberger. He sized him up. Knew he had him for speed. Gave to Gibbs, who gives to Wiggins.
Forward line.
Short his bets. Forced a half volley it. Might play in his favour. McGrath tracks him. Gets away. Back to Wiggins. 60 from goal. Back to Betts. 51 from goal. Sends it to the square. Cloak! Not enough of it.
They are pressing every time they go forward. Brisbane defence under serious pressure at the moment.
Houlihan got it. There's the knockdown from Cruiser. Almost holding the ball. That crowd wanted it. Umpire said no. Betts kicks the goal regardless.
The thing that'll stand out when you have a look at the replay here is Eddie Betts picked it up, but if he didn't, there were about 2 or 3 other Carlton players that could. They had 4 or 5 numbers around the ball. Not a Brisbane Lions jumper in Curly at the time. Just have a look as the ball spills out. There's 1, 2, 3 of them there.
Well, I think a few of them thought they were going to win the ball and ran off. And you can't afford to do that in the back line. Leave 3 or 4 Carlton players 3 round the ball. Eddie Betts' second goal, though, he's been valuable up forward. A couple of opportunities, kicked it behind as well. So 2 goals, 1 at this stage of the game. Not bad for a small forward.
Justin Sherman now going down onto Eddie Betts.
Lions on the ropes here. Biggest lead of the game, 16 points. And the ball up. Leuenberger gave away the free to Hadley.
A lot of momentum with the Blues. Brisbane have got to find a way just to stifle their movement at the moment.
Scotland back to Gibbs. Wipe up that little stain. All the way back to Thornton.
Well, at the moment, Carlton are controlling the tempo. They're pretty much doing as they please.
Cruiser to Simpson. Scotland. Tracked down by Jonathan Brown.
Still able to control the footy though, Dwayne. When Brisbane get pressured, they kick to a contest.
Thornton to Hadley.
Able to maintain possession.
And Vossi's made a move now, putting Sharman deep in the forward line to keep Waite accountable. 17 minutes gone, second term. Hadley thought about a 1-2 with Houlihan. It's a 1-2-3 from Russell. Strip throw in by McDonald. Both players go low. Good collision, good contest. Houlihan, Wiggins, Cruiser, Hadley. Try to get back to Cruiser. He was crunched. No free. Travis Johnston. Jonathan Brown. Bouncing ball. Tough one off the shin. Russell. Simpson. Judd. Johnson. Furvala. Oh, the juggle, but he's got it. But he's taken himself too far out of range.
He could have marked it 52 out. Now he's marked it 60 out.
He'll still have a shot, though.
Surely not from there. Pops it up. Still he hit the roof. Cloak. Flies Leuenberger. Knocked it down. Riscatelli. Dalziel. Back to Riscatelli. And very risky from Riscatelli. Turnover. Johnson. Judd. Players in the middle if Judd wants them. Cloak. The target. Flies and gets it.
So I think that passage of play illustrates exactly what I was saying before, though, Dwight. Carlton, when they're under pressure, they find a way to control possession, slow the game down, hit a target and reset. Brisbane under pressure end up turning the ball over. They did it with the Travis Johnson kick to a 50-50 with Jonathan Brown on this side of the ground. That time they were trying to run it out of defence and got caught, and straight away they're under pressure again.
I totally agree with you. They're controlling the tempo of the game, controlling the moves. I think that Brett Ratton in the coaching box is setting the way this game's up perfectly, the way the Carlton coaching box wants it.
Just the third possession of the night for Cameron Cloak. Little bit of a bend bag, and he slots it. His first goal of the night, first of the year.
Cameron Cloak is a fantastic foil up forward for Brendan Favola, and then when he goes to the ruck, he adds value. But I was talking to Brendan Favola a few weeks ago about playing with Cameron Cloak and the speed, and that you don't think he has got. He's a very good high mark, but he has got speed over and above what people think. And this kick from Judd, look, it's a bit of a hit and hope, but it shows vision to put the ball in the centre of the ground and have faith in your big man in Cameron Cloak.
It's a rest for his trouble.
Big worry for Brisbane trying to get back in the game is where are the goals going to come from? We've seen Judd, we've seen Murphy, midfielders kicking goals for the Lions. If it's not Brown or Bradshaw, it doesn't look likely at the moment for Brisbane.
Leuenberger and Jacobs. Judd having an influence now. Gibbs, Simpson. Johnson. Murphy. Favola led short. Gets it anyway with the handball. Simpson a free kick with advantage. Oh, Favola from the pocket. Sends it long. Thump through.
He liked it. He was off celebrating with the crowd, Dwayne. He is exciting, isn't he?
Oh, Brisbane are away here.
I think that young man thought it was going through as well.
Rich to Black. Short. Hooper. Jonathan Brown. Tough half volley. He had to wait and Thornton attacked it. Cuts off the leather and goes. Scott Carlton. Another tough half volley, but he gathers. Perfect kick. Gibbs. He can go all the way here. Walters inside 50. Kick half smothered. Eddie Betts goal square. Not through and not deliberate.
Nearly a two-goal turnaround because Ran Hooper, he found the right option, but the execution was poor. Brown had found space. He'd found space, he'd worked hard, and when it didn't get to him, have a look at him. He was just disgusted with the kick. He was out of the contest, and they nearly got burnt going the other way. You've got to hit your targets with the foot.
And Brett Thornton, I know he's had a 2-on-1 advantage, but he's done everything that's been asked of him and been very good tonight.
Again, the margin out to its biggest of the night as Black takes the mark. 24 points. The Carlton lead as we tick into time on second term.
Move it on now, play on.
Cut off again, Carlton.
And look at the turnover.
Betts.
We said in the pre-game, guys, as Eddie Betts goes into Ryan Huller, we said in the pre-game about Brisbane's over-possession of the ball. Not over-possession, but they had 420 possessions last week. If they're going to continue to play that style of game, they need to hit their targets. And so far, Jason, their disposal hasn't been as effective as they would have hoped.
Well, the key is when you look at the kicking efficiency, 80% for Carlton, 57% for Brisbane, and that's telling the story. We've just seen a classic example of it, a turnover resulting in a shot for goal, and it was a regulation turnover under no pressure.
Houlihan, 15th possession coming up for him. And that's his 100th goal in AFL footy. Good time to kick it. Margin out to 30.
Probably one of the tests we're talking about prior to the game that Michael Voss is going to face. A big challenge now. How does he stop the momentum that Carlton have built? It is one-way traffic. They've opened up a very comfortable 5-goal lead. They're controlling things, winning the centre square clearances. How do you turn that around?
Yeah, well, it's very hard. They were able to do it last week, but you'd have to say Ryan Houlihan, with the sort of players he's got around him, he's going to be a very, very valuable player this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Houlihan, the ability for him to just be released and play on, he's playing on Jed Adcock, a very good player tonight, and had the better of him. Houlihan with 15 possessions and 1 goal. But the ability for him to get under people's guards when Gibbs, Judd, Murphy are in the team, and even when Nick Stevens comes back, will all go well for him this year.
The ball up. Jacobs, perfect. Palm down. Gibbs ducked his head, no free. Houlihan again, hands off. Wiggins, Hadley, the finish off the move. Brings it around. Awesome. All the way from the ruck contest. They lead by 36.
Well, I think the first thing he's got to do is address what's happening in the centre square, really, because at the moment they're getting smashed in the clearances, and that's where it all started. You have a look at this. There's a couple of them running forward. There's no defensive sweeper.
And the ball should never come out the front of, or out the back of your centre square. It should never come out that easily. If you're playing in the midfield, and you should be having that position covered, so they've got to go round you and round the wings. The ball goes straight down the middle. It's too easy to kick a goal from that position.
And they're both in the middle at the moment, both Hadley and Dalziel. Hadley traded to Carlton for pick 52, and the Lions picked up Brad Dalziel with that pick. And look at that change up there with power.
Normally there's a defensive winger that comes off the square and sweeps around the back of that centre square contest, and that's just not happening for Brisbane at the moment.
Well, Selwood just jogging in there and not really making an impact on, although he gets it here, didn't go to the back of that pack to stop that going out.
So they're rolling the dice.
Power to Selwood, to Johnston, and now Riscatelli. Thumps it long. Bradshaw and Brown down there, and Brown can't get near it. Thornton dropped it. It was a tough ball. Brown, that's a bump to the head.
And Thornton's had a very good night, but two critical mistakes there. If he had taken the mark, he never would have been in that position, and he'd be disappointed with his actions in the last couple of seconds.
Well, Albert Proud has yet to kick a goal in his career.
Just wait for it.
This is game number 10.
Be a good time to start.
Go, Leader. One more, Leader. You can go. Go right. You can go, Leader. That's it.
Still never kicked a goal.
Dwayne, they came back from 6 goals last week against the Eagles, and obviously I don't think the Eagles are the quality of side that Carlton has. I just don't see, as Jason's been saying, where they're going to get the goals and momentum to come back from 6 goals in this game.
He was a little bit unlucky, Brett Thornton, because he turned at 90 degrees just as he was sliding in there, Thornton, and that created the head contact.
And that's one of those that is a free but certainly isn't reportable.
No.
Nothing wrong with that.
I tell you, he's getting a little bit tired of ordinary delivery, and that's Jonathan Brown. He's getting frustrated with some of the kicks.
Garlett the turnover, so McDonald, Sherman, Power. Jonathan Brown calls it long. He goes short. Riscatelli, bouncing ball. Scotland, boundary line, his friend. Seeks it, gets it, ball in.
And there's nothing like a grumpy power forward, is there, Jason?
Behind play, point taken. Behind play, Luke Power was slapping himself on the hip there, saying, come on, I've got to do better with that. Running forward, I've got options, and I missed them all.
Sharman with the knockdown, but Judd with the collect.
There they go.
Scotland, Judd carves his way through the middle. Johnson, short, Garlett couldn't take the mark. Crumdo, Joseph dragged down, not in the back. Drummond wrapped up by Judd, no prior opportunity. Hot ball at the moment. Gibbs steals. Garlett, Murphy ducks around, gets his sights on, and shoots it through the middle.
Mark Murphy is someone that was struggling in the first 20 minutes of this match to get a touch. He had Troy Selwood all over him, but he just through sheer hard work, hard running, he has worked his way into the game. He's now had 11 possessions, kicked a couple of goals, and whenever he does get it, he's looking extremely dangerous. Just took his time. He knew he could get back onto the right boot and finished well.
Thornton. Houlihan. Holding it up. Surely someone needs to yell out, just give us a chance.
I think you're mad if you don't try and kick another goal.
Yeah,
You've got everything going your way. Why not kill them off?
Well, if the time was on the scoreboard, they'd know. But right now, they give the impression they have no idea.
Jared Waite must just think he's having a field day. I mean, he hasn't been made to be accountable by anyone all night. And you can't afford... He's a creative player, Jared Waite. You can't afford to leave him creating and setting up as many goals as he's been doing.
Well, defenders getting more possessions than midfielders these days.
A little late quarter possession fest for Carlton. Big crowd in here at Etihad Stadium. And the Blues fans have enjoyed an 11-goal opening half. Brisbane Lions on the ropes at half-time. Carlton 11-5-71. Brisbane 4-6-30. Cruiser and Leuenberger at the ruck contest, and Cruiser to Judd to half forward. McDonald got back with the saving mark. Adcock called into it by Leuenberger.
And he needs to get his hands on the ball more, Adcock. Really has to get himself in the game and try and have an influence through the midfield.
Jonathan Brown's lead stopped, went back, and Thornton taps it out of play.
And he was signalling there, kick it long, kick it over the top, because there's too many in traffic. If he leads up at the ball, He's got to get the long kick over the top to get a one-on-one contest.
Wait for footy, Rich. Don't lock on.
Again, Power and Judd resume hostilities, going head-to-head.
Tapped down by Johnson to Rich. Half had it, was half held. Riscatelli to full forward. Bradshaw, front spot.
Strength. And it's better play. And, you know, Bradshaw back there on his own, in a one-on-one contest, he's able to compete and mark it without Carlton players coming over the top. They need more ball to a one-on-one contest.
This just a formality. Ideal start for the Lions to this second half.
Well, it was a fantastic work rate from Brisbane just to push the ball forward in numbers, and it was Riscatelli that ended up getting the quick kick forward. You can just see through traffic, Rich was good. He got the handball out, and he fights for front spot, Daniel Bradshaw. He's just a little bit too strong for Bauer down there. And the reason Bauer's playing on him is because it looks like there's an injury to Jamison. We'll check about that in just a moment, Dwayne, I think.
Ask and you will receive. Jason Lee Colbert downstairs.
Yeah, correct, Jason. He's injured at Michael Jamison, hurt his shoulder just before half-time. So everything going well for Carlton, except Michael Jamison no longer at fullback.
And all of a sudden, Bauer has to play a little bit out of his weight break against the bigger opponent in Bradshaw.
And another centre break to the Blues, but does look like Brisbane midfield is up and about and showing more intensity at the ball in the first few minutes. Although they've failed to pick up Gibbs here.
So Hadley to Gibbs, then the thump. Cloak with the rise, got a fist on it. Betts, Cloak stole it back again. Drummond, arms free, not a lot to give it to. Just got out in time. Judd tracking it down. Wiggins over it. Betts wanted it. Little handball out the back, and behind it, do for Adcock here. Can't get it to the line. Now he does.
See, they had a couple of opportunities to clear their Brisbane, and they blew that. They're just not slick under pressure with their hands at the moment.
Eddie, 2 metres, Eddie.
Josh Drummond.
Thank you, mate.
Entrusted with the kick in. Blues zone. And the kick in finds Power in the pocket.
Not a lot of movement.
Merritt.
Play on. Yours.
With some space to run.
He's going to make a decision now.
Oh, Betts gives him the don't argue.
And it's not a great one.
Handball back from Leuenberger to Merritt to Black. They get out of trouble. The bounce pass, good. Patful. He can send it long. Jonathan Brown in a good position this time. Can't take the mark. Went for the pluck from behind. Dragged down Joseph. Ball up.
It didn't come off, but it was the right kick, and Jonathan Brown can't ask for anything more than a run and jump at the footy. And you would probably back him there to mark more times than not.
Good play by Bauer, though, to put himself in a position where Brown couldn't push him out.
Houlihan to Thornton. Johnson took on Riscatelli and won. Wiggins head strapped after coming off.
They've got a lot of space here, Carlton, to move the ball through. Brisbane don't seem to be closing down Carlton's space enough when they Carlton get the ball at half back.
Gibbs. Russell.
Just too easy through the middle of the field. Russell taking a mark there.
Hold there.
72 to 36. Short pass, Simpson.
At the moment, you've got Drummond match up with Favola and Merritt on Cloak.
Wait for it, Coach. Only wait.
And he's playing in 5 metres from in front, Josh Drummond.
Wiggins again.
That's it there.
Can nail a tough goal, we know that. That's what he has ahead of him.
Brisbane seem to be going very much man-on-man in this situation, which is why they're creating those hit-up leads, because man-on-man in the back line, you can actually draw your man out and create a nice lead forward. Too much space in front of the Carlton leading forward.
This will take a miracle kick.
I think he's got it in him, Joseph.
It's in the second row of the stand.
So from the gutter, off the AstroTurf, onto the real stuff. Still outside the boundary when he kicks. He's a miracle worker. He has 3, Eddie Betts.
Yeah, Eddie Betts, that's the second goal from that pocket tonight. It's they're going to change it from, what is it, the locket end to the Betts pocket after tonight.
As
Terrific.
soon as he kicked it, the hand was up. He knew off the boot it was that good.
But the reason that he gets the ball in that position is that Brisbane have decided to go one-on-one with their players. Their midfielders haven't dropped back into that hole.
Look at the celebration.
Slap back from Leuenberger, clever.
Well, they did it last week, Carlton, didn't they? A club record 82 tackles. They've backed it up. This is the style of play we're going to see from them, and it's a pretty impressive one.
Joseph, another player off the rookie list for the Blues, to Waite. Gibbs. Good kick to Betts.
Just walked off the interchange bench, Houlihan.
They're still there.
Good timing, and look how well he uses it.
Simpson, 50 from goal. Favola is inside 50 and short. It's ignored. Oh, Gibbs in space.
Terrific
Takes
kick.
the mark, runs in. A stroll to the park for Bryce Gibbs and the Blues.
Just too easy, really, that kick over the top and creating the goal. I mean, Bryce Gibbs has had a pretty good match, and if you keep running forward into the forward 50 and trying to create space as a midfielder, you'll get opportunities. When you get the opportunities, you go for goal. Terrific kick by Simpson there over the top. Courageous mark and easy goal.
And in this day and age, you need to get your #1 picks right. I think they got it right with Gibbs.
Here we go.
Gibbs, Gumbleton, Lockie Hansen and Leuenberger, the top 4 in the Gibbs draft. Only rival to that #1 spot right now. Joel Selwood, of course, with the Cats. He's had an outstanding couple of years. Russell from the ball up. Merritt attacked it hard. Judd. Speaking of top picks, Cruiser, Drummond, Johnson, Proud. And now Leuenberger with some space. Needs to hit a target. Gives off to McGrath. He could go the journey from 50. Keeps it low. Bounces it home.
That's a great finish. And I think at times we take for granted some kicking skills, but when you are running flat stick because the bloke's chasing you, and he is at full tilt and he's one of the quicker players going around, Ashley McGrath, to be able to kick accurately and over distance, running at full pace is not easy.
And
It's a great finish.
Terrific shepherd by Daniel Rich to, I think it was Mitch Robertson, he blocked, and just take a bit of the pressure off the kicker.
Right, Sam?
Yeah, Chamber, ready to go.
No worries. Just gonna
Letty
wait.
Cruiser off, blood rule.
Might have just copped one in the eye, I think.
Let's go, boys.
Jacobs in the ruck for Carlton.
Yeah, the key for Brisbane is they need to get back-to-back goals. They need to get some continuous pressure placed on Carlton and reward themselves with some goals.
Johnston, little look away handball. Adcock wasn't quite ready for it.
It's mine.
It's the kick away. Joseph had a fly left behind. Sherman.
Still me, matey.
Well played, Selwood. Oh, he's hurt too.
He's
he got
out.
hit high.
He's out. He is out. You can see straight away when they lie like that and the arm stiffens up. He was knocked out straight away.
And that does cause some trouble when you're knocked out before you actually hit the turf.
Yeah, just have a look because he spins. It's great commitment for the ball. He cops a hip to the head and then he whacks the back of the head on the ground. So he gets a double there. He gets 2 severe hits to the head and he's straight out.
So under the current rules, now it's not an intentional hit, didn't mean to hit him in the head. Nothing to worry about.
Absolutely something to worry about.
Really?
I mean, he had no intention there to actually make contact with his head. It was accidental. But I think that will get looked at on Monday.
Accidental's not a defence per se, though. Once you make the decision to bump, remember, once you make that decision to bump according to the law...
So you don't think he was pursuing the ball then? You think he made the decision to bump?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying he made the decision to bump. He tucked it in.
I reckon he was committed to the ball and actually bounced back into Selwood.
And then he made a late decision to bump. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
but the letter of the law says if you make the decision to bump, you are then responsible for any head contact, whether it's an accident or not.
Heard he's right. The ball he thought was going to bounce forward. It stopped on its end and bounced back, didn't it?
It did. Why didn't he tackle?
I don't think he was in a position to tackle. I think it was the...
And I'm only playing devil's advocate. I think it's too honest contest there.
Yeah.
Guys going for the footy, and I don't like seeing players get rubbed out for that, but we know what the law is like over that now.
Big kick this for Travis Johnston, coming off a 2-goal game last week, and slots this to give them a heartbeat.
Well, you're right, Dwayne. It's a heartbeat. It's a faint one, and it's maybe not a particularly regular pulse, but it is beating. Those 2 goals have just given them a sniff when it looked like they were about to be blown out of the water. There's Troy Selwood off the ground just explaining to the doc, I haven't got a clue where I am or what's going on, but my head is very, very sore.
And it's not a good feeling when you come off the ground and you've got no idea where you are, what time it is, what day it is, or what your name is. But, you know, that's what happens in footy. Big goal for Brisbane, but an even bigger goal for Travis Johnson.
Yeah.
He's been able to slip Jordan Russell by going to the centre ground. Russell staying out and got away from him to a certain extent. Obviously, he didn't earn that goal. It was from a sort of relayed free. But if that's a confidence booster, he needs to get him back into the game. It's very important for Brisbane.
Crucial time in the game now. Simon Black knows it. Wants to hit Jonathan Brown. One-on-one with Thornton. Brown to his own advantage. Slips one tackle. Caught. Gets it up to Sherman. High kick. Bradshaw! Brilliant. Terrific. Unbelievable grab.
He is so strong, Daniel Bradshaw. And he paid the free kick, the umpire, but you've got to get the mark there. You've got to reward the forward with the better stat. And I'll take the mark all day over a free kick. But he just with one arm and half a body kept his opponent out and then took it cleanly in the other. That's brilliant. And this is 3 in a row.
They're alive, all right. Came from 5 down last week, remember.
But importantly, guys, they were able to get it to Bradshaw. In the first half, they weren't able to get it past Brown to Bradshaw. Here they've got it to Bradshaw in a one-on-one contest, as we said before, and he's too strong.
Well, this is where you miss Jamison. Jamison's off injured. All of a sudden, Bauer has to play the key defensive post, and he's a terrific player, Bauer, but he doesn't have the strength to match a Daniel Bradshaw, who just muscles him out of the way.
And Bauer beaten there by Bradshaw, but you saw in the frame that Waite almost went and didn't quite go, and that's what you need, to just keep him far enough away that it's a one-on-one contest.
Did the Players Association get a group deal with the tattooists or something? Everyone's got the stickers on now, Dwayne.
I don't think they're stickers.
Quick kick inside 50. The line's alive. Brown wobbles one. Bradshaw can't quite collect. Pursued by Bauer. Gets the kick away, but it rolls to Murphy. Waite.
And it's only 5 goals. You know, it's 5 goals, which is a lot in most grounds, but on Telstra Dome, 5 goals goes, you know, very, very quickly. Another goal to Brisbane, this game will suddenly get interesting again.
Scotland to Jacobs with Pat full to the mark.
You called it beautifully, Dwayne. Gave them a heartbeat, and all of a sudden it's starting to beat a bit stronger. 3 in a row, and there's a sense of urgency about Brisbane now.
Drummond to Clark. They don't want to turn this over. Stiller. Chased by Garland. Blind kick.
Great kick.
Oh, McGrath made it look great, then lost it. Gives it off. Sherman. He's been a little inaccurate lately, and he misses again, Sherman.
That kills you.
Well, he kicked
4 in a row.
7-14 last year. They sent him to the back line, and this year it's been just as inaccurate. He's kicked 2 behinds tonight. 3 behinds without a goal for the season.
He kicks that and the belief grows for Brisbane. I mean, all of a sudden they're within striking distance. It's still a comfortable 30-point margin, but all of a sudden 4 goals. That's, as you say, Hurdy, that can happen so quickly. They got their tails up, but it just deflates you a little bit.
Well, I think importantly the game's changed. It has turned. Brisbane are able to get the ball and move it through, and Carlton are now the ones going long and turning the ball over a little bit, not getting their hands on the ball in the contest.
And the hard thing is you can't actually put your finger on one thing that made it happen. It just turned.
Cruiser, Bauer, Johnson all getting a touch. Now Russell. Carlton just need to take a breath here. Regain their composure. Gibbs. Good night at the office. Possession number 23 coming up for Bryce Gibbs. Pops that up in hope. Sharman with the reach. Couldn't collect it. Stiller. Into trouble. Patfull. Did he have prior opportunity?
No.
Okay.
And that's what Carlton do when they get into trouble. They kick that long ball and get their crummers right round the feet of the ruckman. Going back a few years, that style of football is great.
Sharman. Black. Caught by Carlton. Almost dropped that. Travis Johnson.
Good hand.
Ever. Adcock. Sherman. Dalziel. Adcock. Short pass. Bradshaw on the move. Got it.
That's the matchup. That is the matchup right there that is working for Brisbane. The kick was a little bit high, but he was able to just prop for a step and then leap and take it at the highest point, Daniel Bradshaw. And he's just undersized. Bauer just doesn't have the size to cope with Daniel Bradshaw.
For number 4.
Oh, he's missed it, has he?
Squeezes it in.
How did that go in?
He's got 4, and the Lions' hope lifts.
Didn't look a great kick off the boot, Hurdy, but it's down on the scoreboard.
And you'd have to say that more than just one Carlton player should have been back there on the line to try and defend that. Coaches get really upset with that. But here, you know,
Travis Johnson, the handball.
Brisbane win the contested ball, which they hadn't been doing, and then are able to run it out. And I'm trying to look for Jared Waite here. Jared Waite's been pulled up the ground and nowhere to be seen back across this defensive action.
The margin was out to 43. It's now 23. Bradshaw's got 4. And Lee Colbert's down on the boundary. Lee.
Great news for the Selwood family. Troy's back on the ground after that heavy knock, so good news for him.
I reckon one more to Daniel Bradshaw, and Jared Waite might have to go back to the key defensive post, Hurdy.
And that's what Voss would want. But interestingly enough, in this last 3 or 4 minutes, Travis Johnson has got clear and got some key possessions and doesn't seem to have a player playing as hard a tag as they were earlier in the game on him.
Got the Grizzly Adams look.
Oh, and Jordan Russell moves to him now again.
Flick to the back of the pack. Selwood into that contest, where Angels fear to tread after coming off with the blow to the head.
And it was Johnson last week who got them back in the game when they were 5 or 6 goals down against West Coast across the half-back line and moving through the middle of the ground.
No, you're both in it. I can't pick one. Play on.
2 ruckman type. Adcock again. Dalziel. Brown.
Oh, this game has grown legs something serious, hasn't it? It looked like it was headed for a 10, 12, 15 goal Carlton victory.
Yep.
And now it's can Carlton hang on because Brisbane are coming.
And you've got Carlton players in the middle of the ground now pointing which way. Terrific mark by Brown. I mean, you take that for granted sometimes, to push back and take a ball going almost back with the flight of the ball.
Kick 2 in the opening term to this end from this exact spot. Jonathan Brown.
So you're saying his eye's in? Or are you putting the mocker on his way?
It's a very good kick.
Let's hope he converts.
It's there.
Touch the post.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Gee, I thought that touched the inside of the post. Well, that is great news as far as the contest is concerned, Hurdy.
Oh, it is. It's great for the viewers, great for the Brisbane Lions supporters too. But the Carlton players are still down there remonstrating with the goal umpire and the umpire.
It touched the post.
As it went to goal.
Have a look at this. Tell me this doesn't deflect off the post. Have a look at that. That deflected. That did hit the post.
You've got better eyesight than I, Jason, to call that.
You couldn't see that deflect.
So you want us to bring in snickometer?
Well, look, I call it to the naked eye. I thought it deflected, and the remonstration from the Carlton players tells me that I may have lucked out and got right once in my life, Dwayne.
We'll show it to you again shortly, but this is only a 3-goal ball game. 17 points the margin. Adcock with another clearance. Dalziel, Rich. Leuenberger having an influence.
Yeah, he's come into the game, hasn't he? Well, that needs to be a good kick.
Selwood in a one-on-one. Well played, Thornton. Power had it, gave it up. Houlihan. Simpson to the wing.
All of a sudden, they don't have the loose options, though.
Bradshaw let it slip. Clark. Tap to his own advantage. Short kick. Clever. Power. Thumps it long in hope. Brown can't get there to make the contest. Thornton. He made him earn it.
A little bit of runs gone from the Carlton legs. Here's the kick. Oh, look, it stops spinning perfectly straight. It actually deflects in. Look at that. From both ways, it looks like it's hit the post.
I might have to give you that one, Jason.
Well, I'm going with the parallax error.
Let's just...
Look, with a couple of minutes to go in this quarter, it's going to be very interesting to see who dominates. If Carlton can get another goal or get a goal to steady the ship, they're back in town. But if not...
Seen Yuri Geller do that with a spoon. I'm not sure.
I just hope there's not one kick in it at the end of the game, Dwayne, or we're going to have a serious controversy.
Joseph.
Very interesting if Brisbane get another goal in the last couple of minutes.
Carlton's quarter. 28 gone. High kick for Vola. Early jump, good spoil. Although, kick around the body from Cruiser across the face. And that would have been better for the Blues if it rolled out. It's a behind. And that's essentially a turnover with 2:19 left in the term.
Thanks, Brendan. Where do you think the changes come from, Jason?
I don't know. All of a sudden, Brisbane are the ones with the run in the legs, and Carlton don't have the run. And the last few times Carlton have got the ball off half-back, they haven't had the numbers to just shore up possession, hit some easy targets, and eat up a bit of time and take the pressure off themselves. They've kicked the contest and turned it over.
Colby, is there one side down there that looks fresher than the other? I mean, Brisbane definitely up and about on the ground.
Yeah, most definitely, Jimmy. I think Vossi's move of putting Mitch Clark forward has meant that Waite has had to go back and actually play on a tall defender, and that's certainly helped in Jamison going off, of course.
He's as we speak, Mitch Brown, he's back in defence and he's limping badly again. I think he's coming off.
Jonathan Brown, dangerous centering kick to Dalziel in a 2-on-1. To the back, Stiller, no prior opportunity, dumped by Garlett. Ball up, the clock stops at 1:43.
He's in trouble again, Mitch Clark. He's not moving well at all.
Leuenberger and Cruiser, down to power, stolen by Hadley, played for the high free, didn't get it, crowd wanted it, he wanted it, but umpire Brett Roseberry said no. 3 goals the margin. And the ball up. Russell, Slick, Hadley, Judd. He was hunted down quickly by Adcock. Turnover. Black, Johnston, Rich. We know he can use it. Bradshaw flies. Good fist. Back of the pack. Jonathan Brown with a couple to beat. Bauer with a toe poke. Bradshaw quick to pounce up again. Sherman takes them on. Pocket. Centering kick. Magnificent. Oh, they collide. Scotland, that was a certain goal averted. Long bomb. Murphy tries to track it to the boundary, gets a push, gets a free.
The push.
Well, 2 players, Brown and Blackwood, just do not take their eyes off the ball. You'd hope in that situation that one of them could, but such courageous plays. Probably Black should have actually called Brown in, even though Black was in the better position, because Brown just had no idea where anyone else was.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Browning was actually going to get there in the end, but you can't question the commitment.
The seconds roll. Carlton don't know how long left the 3/4 time. Waite sends it wide. Garlick down to 20 seconds. Short pass. Joseph down to 10 seconds. Murphy, boundary line, takes them on. Scoots a handball up in the Favola direction. The seconds keep running. Selwood caught. No prior, got it too high. What a game we have now. The Blues opened up a 48-point lead, and they've seen it cut back to 18 at the last change. Both these teams coming in tonight undefeated. Both want to stay that way heading into the 3rd round. Carlton, 13-8-86. Brisbane, 10-8-68. 18 points to margin as we start this final term. Gibbs into Rich, caught, slapped, Russell. Handball smothered by Stiller. Oh, great pick up, Rich. Over the top to Riscatelli. He can launch a long ball, goes short, Bradshaw.
You've got to go to the man. This is the bloke that can win the game with this matchup. Whether it's in the air on the lead or just a high kick to a 1-on-1 contest. Too much size, strength, pace for Bauer, who of course is only playing this position because Jamison's off injured. This is a worry, this matchup for Carlton.
He has 4. He's got that for number 5. It bends. First behind of the night for Daniel Bradshaw.
Look, it would have been nice to kick that goal, but they still have the momentum going that way. It'd be interesting to see this Carlton side now, how they react to this sort of pressure.
Waite. Dalziel drops back. Robinson came hard. Collected, gave to Hadley. Houlihan. Favola.
Beautiful pass.
Murphy.
Bloke wants it long.
He might go the whole way himself. Hits the goal and threads it. Sensational goal, Mark Murphy.
And look, a fantastic goal, but he's lucky he kicked it.
Oh, absolutely.
Was sitting in the goal square on his own, would have liked the ball over the top. But look, if you kick the goal, the coach can't complain, and that just shows fantastic skill. And, you know, his game tonight has been very good after starting pretty slowly. His third goal, I think, Jason, and has run himself into the ground. And you look here, he made a decision not to go to cloak and then go for goal. And if you make the decision, you kick the goal, you're always right.
Brad Dalziel with a big job. Mark Murphy, 3 goals for the night. Margin back out to 23.
It's like a 2-goal turnaround, isn't it? The Bradshaw miss at one end, and then you thread the needle on the run. Murphy at the other end.
Cruiser, Hadley, Judd, Russell, Adcock, Power, Black.
Gee, they're harder in the middle though, Brisbane. They were, you know, a quarter and a half ago. Really, really desperate and hard in that centre of the ground, which has got them back into the game.
Brown back to Power, caught, back to Black. Adcock through the middle, good tackle, ball turned over. Simpson's tackle sees it in the hands of Murphy. Short to Cloak for Vola. Little push, one hand, runs back onto it and rolls it through. Classic Fev.
Now, I'm not sure whether we've got the footage, but the tackle from behind by Simpson in the centre of the ground, that created that goal. Brisbane would have kicked the ball to the forward 50, but Simpson's tackle to bring the guy down, there, it's just such an effective play, and almost one of the most important skills in football now is that tackle from behind. Gibbs, fantastic skill. Cloak gets it up there, and then the big Fev, he does what he does best, and that's kick goals.
Daniel Merritt with the big job on the match winner.
He's done a good job too, but a couple of important possessions for Mark Murphy. Kicked the goal, then delivered that ball forward, and his opponent, Brad Dalziel's gone to the bench. Albert Proud back on to resume hostilities with Murphy.
Rich quick in off the square to Power. Black. McDonald. McGrath. Riscatelli wide. Johnson with the fist.
Now, Dwayne, we heard Lee Colbert talking to Brett Montgomery at three-quarter time. He said they needed to get that pressure back that they had in the first half. That's exactly what's happened at the start of this last quarter, Hurdy.
Definitely, Jason. It's such an important part of the game. And their tackles are down on last week, but they've still been good in that area.
Adcock with the quick shark. Bradshaw, one-on-one. Oh, free kick.
He's too strong. They've got to change that matchup.
Well, last year, round 21 against Carlton, Bradshaw kicked 6. All of them on Thornton. They've elected not to go with Thornton tonight, but they might have to go with him for the last 17 minutes here.
Well, they've got to pull someone else back because he is simply too strong for Paul Bauer.
He could turn this game. Daniel Bradshaw, he has 5.
Now, the thing that highlights the difference in strength here is when the long high kick came in, he was actually under the ball, but he was able to push back and take Bauer away from the contest and then come back to where the fall of the ball was. Look how he's worked him back 5 metres instead of Bauer working him under the ball. He just doesn't have the body strength to match someone so big.
You're taught when you're playing deep forward to try and control the space around where the ball's going to land and get your opponent out of it. And that's what he's done beautifully and what you're talking about, Jason.
And there's the change, Dwayne. We said if he kicks one more, probably Waite's going to have to go back there, and he has. And you can't blame Paul Bauer. He battled as best he could, but he was just giving away too much in size.
Leuenberger and Cruiser. Poor bounce, it'll come back.
And that's what Voss has been after all night. He's been after Waite to be accountable. He's got that, and with 4 goals down, you know, in enough time, there's still a very big chance.
So now the key is get it to Brown with a one-out contest and see if he can kick a couple.
Square reset for the ball up. Murphy caught as he tried to get a handball out. Simon Black, bottom of the pack.
And that's what footy is now. It's that game of chess. Who's going to break? Who's going to create the matchup they want? You'd have to say in the Brisbane forward line now, they've got exactly the matchup they want. They've got 3 talls with a lot of space around them. If the ball gets in there quickly, they're better than their opponents. And big chance to kick a goal.
Adcock's been instrumental. That's almost a throw. Simpson read it well. Russell thumps it on. Wiggins. Slick handball. Gee, Scotland was dragged down, didn't have it. Ball ricochets to Joseph, who gave it to him anyway. Good one-on-one. Merritt's fist. Drummond comes hard. Knew he was going to get caught. McDonald. Ball out of play. Big crowd in here at Etihad Stadium. The majority of them Blues fans. And this has been a hot contest to watch from the opening bounce. Out to a 48-point lead, the Blues at one stage. It stands at 23 now. Johnson. Lead comes from Fev to the pocket, too wide. And it doesn't travel out. Drummond. McGrath. No one to go to. It's got Sherman. It'll need to be a very good kick. It's a terrible kick. Simpson's ball.
The break, Jason. Carlton had a 9-day break leading up to this game, or 8-day break, and Brisbane have had a normal 7-day break. Make any difference?
Oh, look, I think if you've had a 7-day break, you've had enough time. Extra days are always good, but I think it's the short break, the 5- or 6-day break, that really cruels the recovery.
Scotland. Gibbs. Russell. Jacobs. Maintain possession. 23 points the lead. Chip to the pocket. Favola. And he likes this pocket.
And he just asked for the ball to be kicked on top of his opponent's head so he could nudge him out. It was a fantastic kick because he kicked it exactly where Favola asked him to kick it.
Yeah, and the reason Favola just said kick it up here is because he had Drummond there and not Merritt. They got caught in transition.
He bends that. Bends it too early.
Don't go staging for it. Just
The use of the body. Two balls on the field, one taken off. Drummond to the pocket, not 15. Hatful. 9 minutes gone, final term. Sherman and Russell in a one-on-one, and Russell thumps it out of play. Carlton fans happy with that. They can reset. Sharman beaten by Jacobs, down to Judd. Through traffic, got it to Gibbs, caught by Rich. Hands off to Johnson. High ball, Wiggins! Big fly, couldn't bring it down. Had a bit of fun while he was up there. Ball in.
Terrific strength by Judd in that contest through his hips and contest.
Jacobs and Charman again. McDonald, Black, Rich, Russell. Adcock, Sherman, Riscatelli, Power, Sherman again. He might go for home. Has a bounce. Chips the ball. Tough bouncing ball. Bradshaw at his feet. Didn't know whether to pick it up or knock it on. Hooper. He tries to burst his way through. He's up. He's down. He's got it. He's lost it. Sherman. He started it all. And he finishes it.
I'm so glad for Justin Sherman's sake that he kicked the goal, because he was guilty of the worst kind of butchery coming into the attacking 50. Again, and that's what I was talking about earlier, he was running flat stick with someone chasing. It's hard to kick, but he only had to chip it in the air. Bradshaw was 10 clear behind play. Now we've got a Carlton player down, and I'm not quite sure who it is, but he looks like he's in trouble, and it could be a stretcher case. We'll have a delay of game here.
So you can see Murphy in the hands of trainers. And he probably was better off staying down. They won't call for the stretcher now and stop play. So it's 18 against 17.
Oh,
He gets trodden on accidentally.
Hooper's boot in his face.
Carlton a man down from this ball up. Rich, splendid
Great
tackle. Last week's NAB Rising Star winner, Daniel Rich, in his second game, trying to inspire his team.
16 possessions tonight for Daniel Rich.
Coming off a 21-possession game last week. Good start to his career. And the ball up. Sherman tap on. Clark over it, didn't really have it. They didn't really have him. Ball up.
And not only has he had 16 possessions, but they've hit their targets too. He's kicked the ball well and hit the targets, which a lot of his teammates haven't.
Murphy in the hands of trainers there. The ball up. Jacobs caught. Ball still in the middle of it. Hadley. He's wrapped up. Umpire will sort this out. One thing that advantages Daniel Rich against men is that he's played the last 2 seasons against men as well. He's a 2-time Waffle Premiership player, of course, with Subiaco in the last 2 years, so the big bodies don't bother him. Clark to Rich, the man we speak of. He stuffs it on. Stiller, wrapped up, no Pryor. Johnston, wrapped up, no Pryor. Dragged down, grab one ball. He did have Pryor, according to the umpire, Ray Chamberlain. Gee.
Travis Johnson will sit there and look at Ray Chamberlain, but Chamberlain made the decision that he tried to break the tackle. I don't know that he had much option, though.
Out of bounds on the full. The footy gods are here. It's back in Brisbane's hands.
Well, that's one of the few mistakes that Bryce Gibbs has made tonight. He's had 29 possessions at an 88% efficiency rate.
Proud called to play on. Riscatelli. Dalziel.
Great.
Sherman's left alone. He could kick 2 in a row. From 50. Nice off the boot. Oh, he's thumped the air. It's a 2-goal game.
Well, this is huge. They just continue to come, the Brisbane Lions. It was the kick from Dalziel that made this. He was looking at the right option. Does he handball? Does he square it up with the kick? And then he looked forward and square. Sherman had worked into space. And have a look how quickly he knows it's there. He's off with the arms up as soon as it leaves the boot. A beautiful kick. He's kicked 2 in a couple of minutes. And this game is up for grabs.
With 5 minutes or 10 minutes into that third quarter, this game was all over. And if the young Carlton team do happen to lose this game, it is a crushing thing for their confidence. I mean, they're up, they're going, they're playing some good footy. But you've got to credit Brisbane. I mean, they've come from nowhere, really, 2 weeks in a row, and this week against quality opposition to be in a position to win the game.
From 48 points back to 12, the margin. Good tackle laid. Clever kick, Selwood kept it alive. Stiller ran into a brick wall. Hadley. Cruiser.
Well, Eddie Betts out this side, all on his own if they can get it to him, and here it comes.
Simpson to Betts. Now he can run to 50. He can size them up. He can put some breathing space back in this contest. Bends it back. Not enough. That was a training drill. Should have kicked it. He's already got 3.
I don't think the bounce helped him. He had a dreadful bounce ball that he had to chase.
Riscatelli. 13 points the margin. Still a bit too early to be talking about handy points. That's a very good mark. Jonathan Brown took a divot with his nose.
There's an 80-metre lead to get to that.
13 points. 12 minutes and change left.
He really wants Bradshaw, but he can't get it there.
Hooper. Oh, cut off by Hadley. Pulls some seconds off the clock.
Again, they've got some loose players forward if they can get the long kick in.
That was ugly.
And this is where fatigue starts to set in. I mean, when your second game into the season, it does take you 3 or 4 games to get your legs and get your whole body ready. The team that handles the fatigue from now on in, I think, will be the favoured team. And to me, Brisbane are up and running much better than Carlton at this stage of the game.
Cruiser out of the ruck, back to Hadley, had it but lost it. He was dumped. Judd, he's the man. Robinson.
They're away here, the Blues.
Favola's on the move. It's a wobbler. He's ignored. Garland instead. Gain number 2. Big moment. Kick not so good. McGrath. Toe poke. Boundary will do.
There's a couple of times Garland going into the forward line, actually, once the second quarter, once just then, where he's probably better off just going for the goals. I mean, 45 metres out. I know he's trying to be unselfish and try and bring other players in the game, but sometimes you've just got to have a shot yourself.
Cloak forced to do some ruck work. Short throwing. Cruiser tries to barrel his way through. Blues have got the numbers. Lions sweating off. Power did well. Got it from Selwood. Gives it to Black. Short to Johnston. That had to be perfect, and it was.
Some tired players out there. He's looking for Brown, 1 out.
And he comes to him. Tough mark. Good fist, Thornton. Simon Black.
Oh.
Dalziel, Simpson, blind turn, runs to 50. He might nail it. Heads long, Favola!
It's a terrific mark. I mean, I know he had to sit, but it's a high pressure mark. But the kick going into him to sit on the favoured side of him was a fantastic kick.
There's a strange hand pass from Simon Black over the back of the head, but what strikes me is why Daniel Merritt was standing so far off Brendan Favola.
The hero of so many, and love is a drug. Fev's got 4.
He was surrounded by 3 Brisbane players, Brendan Favola, but none of them, there's the errant hand pass from Black, none of the 3 Brisbane players were actually close enough to make up the ground. They'd formed a zone in front of him, and not one of them stayed back. Why would Merritt not stay back there and let the other 2 cut off the lead?
Well, I think they thought they were going to win the ball here, and they've run. But this kick from Simpson, he doesn't get captured by the people in front of him. He's able to go over the back. It's a hard kick to kick.
4 for Favola. 17 minutes down.
And
10-11 less.
You'd say Daniel Merritt's done a good job, but Favola still gets 4.
He averaged 2 against him a game last year, Daniel Merritt. 44 goals in 22 games, so it's above the average against him.
So Brownie's picked up his work rate, I reckon, working really hard in this quarter, seeing that he needs to get the ball for his side to win the game.
Thornton to Robinson. Kicks it long for Favola. Thump down. Oh, he spins out of trouble. Sensational. He's got 5, and the 5th was the best of them.
Yeah, no doubt that was the best way. That's just goal sense.
Yeah.
That's a forward that knows his craft inside and out and making the most of not even a half opportunity. That is just throwing it on the boot. He knew where the goals were, and it wasn't pretty off the boot. He just had to get it in the right direction. Have a look at this. He works his opponent off it, knows traffic's coming, but he also knows where the big sticks are.
It's a good spin on the ball too. It sort of floated this way, that way, and straight through. But fantastic goal.
He's in the 490s now, Brendan Favola, goal-wise for his career. And when he hits over 500, he's going to be passing guys this year like Sumic, Brian Taylor, Fraser Gehrig, Peter Dacos, Paul Salmon. He is up there with all of those as one of the greats of the game already. Robinson heads toward the Fev. Thumped out of play. Favola wants to deliberate. Doesn't get it.
And Robinson had a couple of interesting, important disposals in the last minute through the middle of the ground. Seems he's working his way into this game.
Ball in. Still 9.5 minutes left. 25 points the margin. Ball up. They've come from 48 down the lines.
It'll take another miracle for Brisbane to get close to toppling Carlton now, but they virtually produced one in the 3rd quarter. We're expecting something similar.
Cruiser trying to thread it through. Rich to Black. Back towards Rich. Umpire will sort this out.
Look, Etihad Stadium is somewhere where you can kick goals very quickly, so they are still in with a chance. They've been able to do it before. 4 goals in about 10 minutes to go in this quarter. I think it'd be very difficult for Brisbane to get back into this game.
They're not in it, but they're not necessarily out of it. Jarman, Adcock, Black back to Adcock. There's some belief there. Dalziel, Bradshaw forced to prop. Edges wait under the ball, but numbers with the Blues. Joseph, caught, slung, got rid of it, free kick. And 50. And 50.
I'm not convinced on that rule yet, Jason. That's
I hate that rule, James. Absolutely hate that rule.
It's just too much of an advantage for, a disadvantage for something that, you're in the action of tackling. It's very, very difficult to stop once you get into that action.
It's a dreadful rule.
Joseph Long cloaked the target. Arm slapped a little. Patful. Pats it and sees it out. But the clock ticks down to 8:34. The chant of Carlton rings around Etihad Stadium. Cloak down to Judd. Caught. Betts. Caught. Johnston. To Power. Drummond needs to hit a target.
line.
Short kick, Bradshaw. Got a palm on it.
And it's killed them all night, that kick.
Joseph, handball out. Riscatelli. Danger. Now might go the journey. Pokes it. Hooper. Inside 50. Got it.
He did very well in the end, Riscatelli. The issue that Brisbane have going forward now is it's not Waite that's loose, but they've got Heath Scotland that's dropped loose, and he's hanging around Jonathan Brown as well. They keep creating that loose man in defence, and every time Brisbane look up, they think, well, I can't go to Jonathan Brown. They've now been looking for Daniel Bradshaw. The last couple of kicks have been over his head. The good persistence there from Riscatelli, found Hooper in space. Must kick goal.
He's got one run, Hooper. Bends that back. Don't fluff your pillow up just yet. This one's not over.
And amazingly, they're back in with a chance. I mean, I think we've called it 3 times. They're gone. They're back into it. You'd still favour Carlton, but you just wonder whether the run and the courage that Voss brings to this team can get them over the line. I mean, Jonathan Brown working very hard. This spins out of trouble here very well and kicks to Hooper. Hooper had a very quiet night, but, you know, 2 goals, small forward, if you can kick 2 to 3 goals a game and average that, you're doing well.
Yep.
A little bit of chat between the boys. Aaron Joseph, Ron Hooper.
You don't mind chatting after you've just kicked a goal. you feel on top.
19 points. We've played 22 minutes, final term. Important clearance. Judd might get it. Handball back to Bow, put him under a little pressure. Robinson. Got a couple out wide. Gibbs forced to prop, almost the mark, but that's as good. With Johnson, Simpson, poke pass, Garland. 50 from goal. Holding it up, not such a bad option. Thumps it long. And thumps it inaccurately. A behind. It's out to 20 points. You can tell by the looks on those faces, this one's not done. Sherman. Bradshaw wants it long. Tough kick to mark. In fact, he won't get near it. Oh, that's how tough it was to mark. Bauer put it down, and it's alive again. Houlihan, Waite. Big Jacobs on the wide one, and he's got it.
Look, I know Sherman's kicked a couple of goals, but he really needs to go away during the week and get his kicking into the forward 50. Work on it and get it better, because to AFL standards, some of the kicks that have gone to forward 50 from him tonight haven't been accepted.
As we mentioned, 7 goals, 14 last year, Sherman. 6 goals, 8 the year before. And his accuracy, not his forte. Garland can't trap it. He'll get a ball in.
When he gets the ball enough, and he creates so much distance with his run, when he gets the ball, he's a 15, 20-metre runner before he kicks it. So he's a 70-metre player. If you turn it over, you really hurt your team.
Leuenberger down. Johnston. Handball to where he heard the voice. Rich. Wanted the little dinky kick to Proud. Missed him. Murphy. Garland. Blues with numbers in the middle. Gibbs called out of it by Simpson. He knew the voice. Hands off to Bauer. Now Gibbs. Cloak. He can kick the sealer if he marks it. Flies. You bet.
Great kick, though. I mean, that Gibbs kick was a fantastic mark by Cloak, and he had work to do. But this kick is to the favoured side of his teammate. Sits it on top and gives his player every chance. The vision Gibbs has got is fantastic.
He's played some game, 31 possessions.
It's a great mark, though.
A couple of goals himself.
Did you get off the ground at high in your...
Never. He's a big bloke, but he's got a good leap, Cameron Cloak, hasn't he? He just needs to go back and finish his good work.
You've had 20. 10 to go. 10 to go.
I tell you what, he's given this 30 a real good test, isn't he? It's got to be over 25.
This should seal it. Push it out to 26. Massive roar rings around Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, Cameron Cloak, fantastic effort. Yeah, kick the goal, go and take the mark. But yeah, Gibbs will be very close to best on ground, Jason, with his performance. 31 disposals, 89% kicking efficiency, which is sensational. And 2 goals. He doesn't miss with his kicks too often, Gibbs. If he gets time, you give him time and space, he seems to create time and space and delivers the ball like that.
Just the 7 possessions for Cameron Cloak with 2 very important goals. Less than 5 left, and the margin's 26.
They talk in AFL football now, Dwayne, about playing your role. I think Cameron Cloak plays his role beautifully, kicks a couple of goals. If he can do that per game, contest in the ruck and contest around the ground, that's what they need from him, and he's a valuable player if he's able to do that week in, week out.
Also had a good night at the office. Has Luke Power to Rich. To Brown. And now to Bradshaw. Tough one. Hands to it. Bauer. Robinson. The confidence is back. Sees Waite. Oh, now he sees Murphy.
I've got a feeling Mitch Robinson, I mean, he's been the forward line for his first 2 games, but he might move further up the ground. He's got great vision when he kicks.
Oh, Jonathan Brown, look out.
And it's on behind play. Merritt's taken the mark. Brown's got 3 to deal with.
He's in the mood to fight too, Jonathan Brown, but he gave... Look, there was nothing untoward in it. It was just a little get-up, you know. He didn't kick him, he didn't knee him, he just pushed against him with the leg. A little bit of a reminder. A couple of Carlton players came in.
Bradshaw flies. There certainly wasn't any Satandero helping about it when he put the leg there. The Blues fans can welcome him back next week with Nick Stevens, by the way.
It's just like saying get out of the way. Nothing more than that. And I tell you what, you're a game man if you go and grab Jonathan Brown by the throat.
In the meantime, Daniel Bradshaw for number 6. Gives it some air, and it's there. 3 minutes 30 left, 20 points to margin.
Free kick here. Free kick against Thornton.
Now, interesting.
See what was smart there? Thornton and Brown were going at it. Jonathan Brown knew when to go away. Drummond came in, and there's the swinging arm, and that's what given away the free kick. Mind you, why you'd pay a free kick for that? There was nothing in that either.
I don't actually believe that's a free kick.
They're pushing and shoving. Let that go.
20 points to margin. 3 minutes 29 left. Drummond has the ball. 55 out.
Over umpiring.
I'm sure there's a rule there that says it's a free kick. Whether it's the rule of the umpire, but it's not a free kick.
Drummond thumps it. Gee, it's got some carry. Brown's under it. Can't mark. Wait. Oh, dangerous kick. Bradshaw with the fly. Can't mark it. Almost gathers his own crumb. Robinson raked it in. Gave it out. Dangerous area to be throwing it to. Bauer scoops it up. Gibbs has been sensational. Hits Murphy. We're down to 3 minutes. 20 points to margin. Houlihan.
Well, they'll just eat into the clock now.
They're going to move the clock down and slow it down, and the ball in the hands of the right people.
Murphy.
And unless Brisbane man up, which they haven't done yet, Carlton can just keep doing this for the next 2.5 minutes.
Scotland to Wiggins. Cloak. Little droppy. Would make out his hurt. Need up some seconds. Robinson. Maybe a contender for this week's nomination for the NAB Rising Star. Game number 2. Scotland. Back to Robinson. Wiggins again. And we're down to 2 minutes.
But this is not great footy, Jason. It's what teams do now, but it has been a good game.
Oh, it's been a great game, and they'll get the job done, Carlton. Mitch Robinson, just another one for the highlight reel, but I'll tell you what, Brisbane came back and gave them a scare, and look out here.
Brown went for Merritt. Almost a turnover. Eddie Betts clever. Tries to throw it out. Stolen. Wobbler. Clark. But it's beyond them now. Patfull. The Blues will remain undefeated. Jonathan Brown. Blues with Essendon next week at the MCG. Saturday night, Brisbane with Sydney at the Gabba.
Did well to get a boot on it, Drummond.
Got it out and got it in again.
Well, Josh Drummond was clever there as well because he actually dragged the ball back under the Carlton player.
Power to Bradshaw.
Doesn't he battle well tonight, Daniel Bradshaw? He's done his job. He's kicked 6. He'll line up for number 7.
Well, 7 would be a pretty good night at the office in a losing team. Gives that a big long ride, but it won't be accurate enough. He kicked 6 in the losing team for the Lions against Carlton round 21 last year at the Gabba. And it looks like being ditto tonight. 6 goals, 2 to Daniel Bradshaw as we tick down towards 30 seconds. And no wonder Carlton's midfield is good. When you look at that box, you've got Ratton, Bradley, Greg Williams lending a hand. And now you've got guys like Murphy, Gibbs, Judd, of course, in the middle. They're a force to be reckoned with.
Are they the next power midfield, Dwayne? They're going well and truly on the way to doing it. Are they the next midfield that's going to dominate, take over from Geelong and maybe the Hawks?
Well, we know the Brisbane Lions once had the Fab Four. Yep. They've only got, unfortunately for them, Paul McCartney left. and Luke Powers had a pretty good night at the office. 19-point win to the Blues. And over 44,000 people rise here at Etihad. One of the games of the season. They opened up a 48-point lead to Blues. Saw it cut back to 2 goals. But they win by 19 to remain one of the teams to beat in 2009.